Something was wrong with the island. I knew it the moment I stepped off the boat. The air was heavier, the kind that sits in your chest and refuses to move, the kind that whispers even when there's no wind. I was only supposed to be there for 3 nights to document the old lighthouse for the Coast Preservation Office, but it didn't take a single night to realize something wasn't right. There were no birds, no insects, no waves crashing, just the stillness and that cold, strange silence that wraps around you like wet cloth. They said the keeper hadn't left the place in years, that he preferred isolation, that he had stopped responding to radio calls a month ago. No one had checked until now. You are listening to Fearloom Tales. The man who met me at the shore was supposed to be Harold Dunn. He didn't speak when I introduced myself, just nodded, turned, and walked up the craggy hill without a word. He was older than I expected, gaunt, skin like sun-dried paper, eyes that didn't blink enough. He opened the lighthouse door for me and gestured inside. There was no welcome, no instructions, no warmth. I followed him in. The air inside was thick, stale. Everything smelled like old seawater and rusted metal. The room he pointed me toward was small, just a cot and a lamp, but I noticed a notebook on the desk. Its pages were torn in places, stained. On the top it read, "Things to remember. Do not speak. Do not listen. Do not ask about the cellar." I thought it was a joke, a lighthouse keeper's lonely imagination, but something about the way he slammed his own door made me think otherwise. That night, I couldn't sleep. There was no sound from the ocean, but I heard something. Under the floorboards, slow, dragging footsteps, back and forth, back and forth. I pressed my ear to the floor. Silence. Then 3 knocks, soft, measured, directly beneath me. I froze. I wanted to believe it was the pipes or some shift in the old wood, but pipes don't knock 3 times in a row, and footsteps don't move with intent. In the morning, he was in the kitchen. He didn't look at me. I asked about the cellar. He didn't answer. Instead, he stood up, walked to the pantry, took out an old red tin can, and threw it out the back door. Then he whispered, "We feed it at sunrise, never after." I didn't know what he meant, didn't ask, couldn't, but I saw the fear in his eyes. Not the kind people show you, the kind they try to hide, but it leaks out in the trembling hands, the unfinished sentences, the way someone avoids a shadow that isn't there. That evening, I tried to read the notebook. Most pages were missing. Some were covered in circles, over and over, spirals drawn by a heavy hand. But one page stood out. It read, "The sea doesn't want us here. The sea remembers. The sea speaks when the light goes out." At exactly midnight, the light at the top of the tower flickered, then went out completely. The building groaned, or maybe it was the wind. Then, the knock. 3. Again, but this time, it was at my door, not beneath me, not distant, right outside my room. I didn't move, I couldn't, and then, a whisper. "You opened it, didn't you?" The voice was thin, not loud, but it slipped through the cracks in the door like smoke. The cellar was locked for a reason. I didn't reply. I couldn't even breathe, but I hadn't opened anything. Had I? The next morning, I found the keeper standing by the edge of the cliff, looking down into the water. He didn't turn when I approached. He just said, "You heard it too, didn't you?" I nodded. He took a deep breath. It wasn't always like this. Before the storm, before the flooding, the voices were quiet. I waited, but he said nothing more. When I turned to walk back, I noticed something I hadn't before. A small wooden door just beyond the lighthouse, half buried under moss and stone, padlocked. The cellar. I should have walked away, but I didn't. That night, I waited, notebook in hand, pen ready. Midnight came. The light went out, and I opened the door. It creaked. Rust flaked into the air. The steps beneath led into pitch darkness, but I went down. One step, then another. The smell hit me first. Salt, mildew, rot. Then I heard it. Breathing. Not mine, not Harold's. Something deeper, wetter. Then the whisper again. Now you know. A flash of movement, a shape in the dark. Too large, too fast. I ran, didn't stop until I was outside. The light flickered back on, and Harold was gone. They found me 3 days later, alone, at the top of the lighthouse, writing in a notebook that wasn't mine. I don't remember what I told them, but I never went back. I hear the lighthouse is still running, still shining, but no one sees the keeper anymore. They say the light never turns off, and no one dares ask what's beneath the floor, because secrets rot slower than bodies, and the cellars never really empty. You've been listening to Fearloom Tales, and if you hear knocking tonight, don't answer, not unless you're ready to keep the light burning. A new story every night.